This is Sam Like the Ghost, and we've been writing local electronic songs since our first album as Phantom Like the Ghost, Something Wicked, which is still available on Amazon CD. And as I said, you should support your favorite artists by buying their CDs and buying their downloads rather than just streaming. Again, Something Wicked, our first Phantom Like the Ghost CD, is still available on Amazon.com, along with Indigo Menace, Synesthesia, Sweet Neo Soul Surrender, and The Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb, that album was actually recorded all primarily with a Teenage Engineering OP set. Now, I wrote a song last night that's in the tradition of Something Wicked. It's a song called Things Are Starting to Go Wrong Quick. I'm actually out Ubering in this economy, which is one of the jobs that's still available. With a lot of things shuttered, we're working with the restaurants. We're taking workers to work, dealing with people. And so this song, I was actually walking around a mall in New Hampshire called the Pheasant Lane Mall. I took some photographs and I created a music video showing that the mall was pretty much empty. The only place that's kind of active is Target for people buying supplies, and also the food court, which is all doing delivery, and I've been interacting with the Grubhub and DoorDash and Uber Eats delivery guys. We've all kind of been running that in order to survive. And so this song is basically showing you what happens when we had a president that said the cases were going from 15 to 0, and they've gone to over 9,000. And there has to be an end to Trumpism. There has to be an end to the lies and the xenophobia. It's not helpful to call this a Chinese virus, as the president tweeted. That's xenophobic, that's racist. It could get Chinese Americans and immigrants killed. That is not helpful to this situation. If you're a Trumper, I don't understand how you could say you're being a good Christian when all you do is spew a lot of hate. And this time we don't need Trumpian hate. We need people to come together and not people just stroking their ego, or people having ideological walls and not being willing to get out of their circular logic. This is the time for bold thinking and bold action, and for people to sacrifice. I've been dealing with sacrifice for a long time. I've been, like, in this song, I talk about being isolated in this nation for years. As an African American information technology worker, I've hit the glass ceiling. I've been treated shabbily and poorly, and not really been given the opportunities that my counterparts. I've had to struggle, and I've become pretty much an independent consultant, but I paid the price for that in this economy. I got laid off, doing Uber full time, doing my music, trying to get back to a work from home situation where there's a lot of people. I've actually been working from home for like the last 10 years and a lot of jobs, so I'm hoping to get a position I'm looking for so I can sustain my house. So we have some protections now where we're not going to get kicked out of our homes, and we're not going to have to, we can, defer our car payments for a little bit. So, there are some things that the Republicans and Democrats have come together in Congress to do what's necessary. But this song is, Things Are Starting to Go Quick, is kind of a reflection of this administration. They dismantled the pandemic office for reasons of like, we got to get rid of anything Obama did, which was a real disastrous decision because they left us unprepared, left the experts off the table. Testing has been limited in this country because the president didn't want it to look bad for his re-election. If we had impeached this person prior to January, we might have been in a better situation, but I don't know if Pence, his behavior on HIV wasn't any good example of somebody who knows how to deal with a pandemic. So I don't know if we would have been in the same place, and I don't think Pence would have done any better. The problem we have is low-minded people who have a political agenda that basically says government's the problem. When, think about it, you can't make a profit as a fireman. You can't tell people that firemen's only going to come if you pay for it. That's why fire department became something that was public, because if you had to pay for the fire department to come, then the whole city could burn, because they wouldn't come if you don't have money. And the same thing with a pandemic. It's like you have no idea when a SARS or an H1N1 or a bird flu or this contagion would happen. You need to have that office. Also, you need to have pharmaceutical companies willing to create vaccines. This virus was known. There were people that had coronavirus vaccines that were not put into clinical trials because our capitalist system felt that it was not profitable. That kind of stuff going forward after this has to stop. The government needs to support pandemic preparation. And there's many other types of corona-type viruses or other viruses that could be just as deadly that because they're not profitable to make the vaccine, they haven't gone through clinical trials. And so, things are starting to go wrong quick because of short-sightedness. All the people on Wall Street who talk about profit, all their profit was wiped out because people didn't have a vaccine because they didn't want to make money because they weren't going to make a profit. Now there's no profit. So that tells you that, maybe instead of all the nukes and all the weapons, the biological situation should have been looked at a lot deeper. So this song, I'm not going to go into the construction. It's done with our analog synths. It's a political electronic song talking about these times, talking about the xenophobia, talking about the enemy, talking about social dislocation. Hoping everybody can understand what it feels like to be in the minority now, or to feel like that you're isolated. Everybody now has to stay home and feel like somebody who's on the outside, on the outs. And that's what a lot of minorities and immigrants feel like. So maybe you're starting to understand how we have to deal with everyday life in America. Now you have to deal with it. So I hope, like I said before, that you support all the folks we've ever interviewed. Musicians are having a very hard time in this day and age. You need to support your local musician by not just streaming, go to their websites, buy their merch, buy their t-shirts, buy their physical vinyl and CDs. Musicians are going to be having a really hard time. They're not going to be able to do anything unless they go on the net. And if they do live streams, to have the ability for you to fund them. Please donate to any band that has some kind of internet presence that does a show and has a donate button if you have money. Because these folks are not going to be able to survive without the help of the community. And their livelihood is based on art, and everywhere they can actually show their art physically has been shut down. So again, every artist we've interviewed, please support them by buying their merch, buying their albums, buying their vinyl. Go to Amazon, go to iTunes, download and purchase their albums. Don't just stream them. Same thing goes for us. As I said, we have physical CDs for Phantom Electric Ghost on Amazon.com. If you type in Phantom Electric Ghost on Amazon, you can find these CDs. We also are on all streaming services, but we're on iTunes and Amazon. If you go to Amazon and iTunes, you can actually buy Phantom Electric Ghost music. It would be appreciated if you help us out. Make sure it doesn't hurt, but if you can help us out, that would be great. If you like the music, support the band. We'll talk to you later. Phantom Electric Ghost signing off.